Ms. Meeta Mathur is a very renowned personality. She has helped thousands of individuals to transform their personality. She's also a founder of Big Ladder. She has been working with Skills Rediscovery with some very important courses. And she's also helped individuals to develop their personality, how to communicate with individuals, how to help students be confident when they're talking. She's also a director at Tanya Crafts Private Limited. And ma'am, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Shivani. Thank you so much for having me here on this platform.
Delight, ma'am. So, ma'am, as you know that we are going to discuss about the power of communication today. And you once said that, 80% of whatever we do in life depends on how we communicate, how we talk. And ma'am, it's also prevalent that this particular thing is so relevant in today's field, but is given very little importance, through students, through working professionals. So with this thought or with this issue, let's start our session, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Shivani, and thank you, Professor Rushil. Thank you, Skill Rediscovery, for having me on this platform. So, as Shivani mentioned, that 80% of whatever we achieve in our life is based on how we communicate and how we interact with people. That is not what I'm saying. That is what has come out of several researches done way back in the 1900s. So it's been over a century that we know that how important it is to communicate well. So to begin with, I have a few questions for you. Does your communication clearly demonstrate your passion, your purpose, your intention, or your discipline? Are you able to showcase your credibility or your leadership skills, teamwork skills, or maybe communication skills? And are you able to pull out relevant examples from your personal or professional life to showcase your strengths, your achievements? If the answer to any of these is in the negative, then this masterclass is for you. Like I always say, transform your communication and transform your life. Communication has the power to transform your relationships, your influence, your impact, your income, your life, and ultimately your legacy. So communication is powerful. Communication is the key. It is actually a wealth. So whether you are a student, executive, or a CEO, or a salesperson, negotiator, motivator, teacher, or a coach, or a homemaker, you are welcome to join me today in this space of 1 hour where we will be discussing several aspects of being an effective communicator. It's a fact that English is not our primary language, but I find many of us are tongue-tied even when we are asked to speak in Hindi or Marathi or Bengali, whatever is our mother tongue. So it clearly shows that the lack of knowledge of the language is not what is stopping us from becoming effective speakers, but it is our inhibitions, our lack of confidence, or maybe fear of being judged that is inducing us with massive anxiety, that is stopping us from reaching our fullest potential as orators. So whatever it is, whether you are giving a speech to 5, 50, or 500, whether you are sitting in for an interview, whether you are selling a product or teaching a course, communication, as I said, is very, very important. I also feel that when we have practiced for several days, maybe 5, 10 days, and then we come on stage, we feel less nervous. Anxiety or nervousness kicks in massively, mainly when we have to speak spontaneously or extempo, like when I or a teacher suddenly asks you a question, when you are sitting for an interview, or suddenly in a party when you are mic is thrust in front of you. That is when the anxiety develops. There are butterflies in your stomach, or your knees start to wobble, or you profusely start to sweat, or maybe you get a dry throat. Listen, this happens to everyone. Everyone. Don't worry, you are not alone. In fact, 3 out of 4 people, 75% people, have this fear. You know, it has a term for itself, it has a name. It is called glossophobia. Fear of public speaking, or anxiety of public speaking, going on stage and speaking, is called glossophobia. Prevalent in all parts of the world, in all countries, with all age group of people, with whatever experience. So let's not worry about that. Let's just think how we can be better or more effective, because communication is going to be there for your success. And I know each one of you has joined me today because there is some aspect or some percentage of fear in your mind as well. Right? So tell me one person, show me one person who says that I am not scared, or I do not fear. Because fear is ingrained in our genes. Fear is something that has kept us alive as a species on this planet. And I, as a coach, feel that fear is very, very important for your self-growth, for your professional growth. Why? Because if you did not have fear, you will become complacent, you'll become lazy, you will take it very easily, and maybe you will not strive harder, or you will not practice much. So fear is important in our lives. And I do not know anyone who says that I have no fear. For something or the other, maybe it is for cockroaches or spiders or snakes or whatever, fear is in our genes. As a founder of Big Ladder, which is a coaching company that designs, develops, and delivers several communication and leadership related programs to students as well as people in corporates. And all of these programs are customized, they are personalized based on scientific research and on several techniques from life coaching as well as NLP. What is NLP? NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. Several of you must have heard about NLP, but just simply put, it is how language influences your neurons, or how language programs your neurons. How you think, how you talk. So it does not just be only for yourself, but it is also for others. So what you speak also influences other people, right? So that is how simply we can define NLP. And it has several techniques, easy yet very effective techniques that helps us to master not only our language, but our mind, how we communicate, how we have a relationship, and how we succeed in our lives, how we will respond and react to situations. So today I'm just going to stick to the topic that we have, and that is of public speaking. Public speaking does not mean just going on the stage and speaking in front of a large audience. It can be a conference, it can be a round table, or it can just be even in your kitty party. So whenever you're speaking to more than one person, I'll just, for the sake of this webinar, I'll call it a public speaking. So it could be an interview as well, right? So let's see the first step, or the first way we can manage our anxiety is to acknowledge the feeling. What I mean by acknowledging the feeling is that know that it exists. So what we do is that we try to bottle it down, to curb it, or to put it in a box and say, no, I am not feeling nervous. Even though there is symptoms of, gurgly stomach or shaking limbs or, sweaty hands or dry throat, whatever it is, acknowledge it. Okay? And acknowledge what are the thoughts going on in your mind. So I'll just give you an example that very recently, I was invited to a large HR convention, and there were a couple of speakers before me. And suddenly I started to have those symptoms of anxiety. For a few minutes, I had that dry throat and I did not know what, I was going blank. And then I tried to use this technique, understand why it is happening. And suddenly I had a picture in my brain that I am going to fall on the stage. And why this was happening? Because it was a large auditorium and very dark, only the spotlight on the speaker. And there were several wires on the stage for the mic, for the laptops, and for the sound system. And I thought I will get entangled and fall on the stage. So when I could pinpoint what is it that is making me so anxious, I could actually find a solution for it. I picked up my phone, switched on the flashlight, and very smartly moved up on the stage. I did not fall, and I had conquered my anxiety. So it is important, like if you feel that you may forget your lines, you may forget the facts and figures that you are going to present, then we have several ways. We can use a PowerPoint presentation that will give us cues on what we need to speak. Or maybe we could use flashcards. Maybe we could carry a small paper where we have several points written on it. So if we are able to acknowledge, if we are able to understand why this anxiety exists, then we can actually find the ways to cure. Understand the symptoms, understand why it is happening, and have a conversation with yourself. Why is it happening to me? Thus, you can stop it from becoming that enormous elephant in the room. If you do not hold it right there, it will spiral to something so huge that at that point, you will not be able to do anything about it. You can't possibly eliminate it, but you will definitely stop it from becoming overpowering, overwhelming. You are going to stop it from becoming a panic attack. So take a deep breath and don't let that anxiety spiral out of control. I hope you got that. Moving on to my second technique, and this technique is called reframing. Why this is simple is that you don't need anything. You just need the power of your thoughts. Yeah? Which means in NLP, in neuro-linguistic programming, what we need to do is just be mindful about what we are thinking and how we are pronouncing it to our mind. So what we say to ourselves and others, they have a long and pronounced effect on our nervous system. Yes? So reframing is a technique I have used several times, and in this scenario, what we do is that instead of calling this assignment a challenge, so today I'm sitting in front of you and talking to you. So what I say is that I'm talking to you. I'm having a conversation with you all. I don't call it a public speaking assignment. I don't call it a challenge. परेशानी नहीं है ये मेरे लिए. ये मेरे लिए एक opportunity है. ये एक conversation है. So as soon as I call it a conversation, there is a certain ease that starts happening to me. There is a certain calmness that comes to my mind that stops or curbs my nerves. Yes? Tell me, have you ever performed on stage? Have you sort of gone for singing or dancing, maybe a group dance or a group song? So if you miss one note or one step in a dance or one dialogue in your stage performance, then the entire group or the band gets affected, right? But not so in a speech. A speech is a solo performance. So whatever you want to say, you can go ahead and say, even if you miss out a line or miss out some vital facts and figures, nobody will know, only you will know, because this is a solo performance. Unlike your dance or drama or singing thing, it is not that everybody will know. Yes? So second step is to reframe. Reframe your dialogue happening in your head. So it is not a challenge. Reframe it as an opportunity. Or you could reframe it as a conversation. Like, for example, if you've gone for an interview, it is a conversation between the interviewer and the interviewee. They're asking you questions and you're providing them information or answers or your thoughts and opinions, like you would do with a friend or a colleague. Reframe it. And what will happen is, see how, what is NLP based on? NLP is based on, like, when you change your thoughts, there is a marked difference in the chemicals that are happening in your body. Your hormonal levels will change. Instead of having all anxiety hormones, you will start to have a cocktail of beautiful hormones of dopamine, oxytocin, or endorphins, serotonin. And all these are happy hormones, which will uplift you, which will curb down your anxiety. Your nervousness will go away. So, when you have good thoughts, you have good chemical reactions in your body. And when you have good chemical responses in your body, you will have better physiological responses. You'll be happier, your blood pressure will be in control, your language, you'll be mastering your language, you will be speaking effectively. And certainly your behavior changes and your outcome changes. So, when you change your thoughts, your hormones change, your physiology change, your behavior change, and hence your outcomes are much better than you expected. This is my second thing. Third is that be inclusive. When I said make it a conversation, make it a conversation with your audience, whether it is your child or your boss or your colleague or someone you've gone to have a deal with. Make it a conversation. How can you make it a conversation? So here is my technique. I start it with a question. Remember, when I started this conversation with you, I started with several questions. I asked you, does your communication have that kind of impact, or are you able to communicate your passions and discipline and your achievements and exposure and experience? I asked you several questions in the beginning, right? Now, questions are dialogic in nature. Yeah? These questions could be rhetorical, or it could be a poll, or it could be simply asking for information, or it could just be something that I want to interact with you. Now, what happens is, there has to be an answer from your end. The audience will have to give an answer. When I ask you a question, either you will nod, or maybe you will say yes, or maybe you will say maybe, whatever it is, but you will respond. There will be a certain engagement from your side. And when that happens, it becomes a conversation. It no longer becomes a one-sided affair. Yeah? So that is making it inclusive, getting people to be talking to you. So I see several questions popping up on my screen, and dear friends, we'll take up all these questions in just a few minutes. Stay on till the end of this session so that let me just give you certain techniques to manage your anxiety and certain tips that you can make your conversation very strong, your communication very strong, and eventually we'll all talk about the questions that you have. And I know these questions are very important to you. So stay on and we will discuss all about it. And I was talking to you about making it inclusive, yes? Why we need inclusive language. If you are not engaged with me, if you're not with me, you'll not be asking me these questions. You'll get bored. You'll be looking at, you'll be on the screen, yeah, but you'll be looking at your Insta or your Facebook or maybe your emails. So, but when I am continuously asking you questions, you are on your toes and you are ready to listen to me. It makes a dialogue. Secondly, use inclusive language. Okay, inclusive language, because if we are not including the audience with us, there is a language barrier, a language distance, not a physical distance, but a language distance between the audience and ourselves. So pay attention to your body language. Have a relaxed body language. Yeah, do not cross your arms and do not be very strict and stand like a stick. Keep open arms and a smile on your face so that you are included with them. Another thing that I use very often in my conversation with the audience is that I use the pronoun we. I never say that you should be doing this, or the students should be doing this, or the country should be doing this. It's always we as a society should be doing this. We are the people who should be taking the steps towards this, or we as a country are facing these kind of problems. So when I use we, I'm including you and I'm including myself, and that becomes an inclusive language. So how to be more inclusive is first start with a question, create a dialogue. Second, body language should be so open that it becomes that you are included in my conversation. Third, use language which is inclusive, like the pronoun we instead of I. And that makes it very inclusive. That makes it very engaging with people. Fourth thing is be present oriented. Be in the present. What happens is, let's talk about anxiety. What happens is either something in the past has happened which has made you that kind of impact. So 3 years back when I started giving a speech, I forgot. Or maybe your friend had a difficult experience giving a speech. So that affects your thinking. Or maybe it is something in the future. Maybe I will forget. Maybe I will not be able to create that kind of an impact. Maybe my friends and fellow people will be judging me. So either we are thinking of the past or we are thinking of the future. And that is creating the anxiety. Correct? Correct? Yes? So what we need to do is be in the present. Not think of the past, push away the past, and the future is very far away. Put it away from you and think of the present. And how can we do that? Clear your mind. Clear your mind, right? How? Now that is very easy to say, but is it easy to attain? Because we are having thousands of thoughts per minute. And unfortunately, most of them are negative. What I feel is meditation helps a lot. If you meditate and visualize your success, then you are able to effectively push out the past and the present and the future and stay in the present, right? If you take a lot of deep breath, if you do a lot of breathing exercises, then again, that will bring you to a mindful state. But here is something that is very, very difficult to do when you are sitting outside the interviewer's room. For example, we're just going to, in 2 or 4 minutes, you are going to go into the interviewer's room. Is that a good place to meditate? Or is that a good place to do your breathing exercises? No. No, because when you are in that interviewer's premises, you are being observed. And you don't want people to understand or to know that you are suffering from anxiety. What to do then? You should have something that you can use at the very last minute. So I have a technique here, and that I learned when I was doing a lot of theater. So as you know, theater, because your dialogue is linked with other people's dialogue. So you always have that fear, if I forget. I know so many people, theater artists, who always have this fear that if I forget, what happens? Yeah. So there I was, a young Meeta Mathur, sitting at the corner of a room, on a stool, and getting into creating a very nervous state for myself. And my director, who was very, very experienced, and from the look of my face, maybe he understood that, yes, this is what is happening to this girl. So he just came and asked me, Meeta, what are you doing? I said, nothing, I'm just trying to memorize my lines. So he understood with the way I was speaking that I was very, very nervous. So he said, Chelly, let's play a game. Do you like tongue twisters? Do you know any tongue twisters? अच्छा चलो, say this. कुछ ऊंट ऊंचा, कुछ पीठ ऊंची, कुछ ऊंची ऊंट की पीठ. I said, what is wrong with this man? I'm trying to remember my lines and he's asking me to do this thing. Arre, please, bolo, why don't you say this? And sir, please go away. I was pushing him out and I was saying, please don't disturb me with my anxiety and my nerves. So he said, no, please do this. And soon enough, I was saying this and I was focusing so much on what I said that my mind for that moment forgot to be nervous, to be fearful. Because my entire brain was focused on saying those things in a clear fashion. So if I say, slit the sheet I slit, and on the slit sheet I sit. I am so focused because if I do not focus, I'll soon be saying some words which I should not be saying on this platform. Yeah? So what it brings is that your entire attention, your focus is on some cognitive resources. So this is something that I create for myself. Whenever I am going on stage or whenever I'm speaking with large numbers and I feel some nerves, then I try to focus by saying some tongue twisters. What you could probably do is create some cognitive problems for yourself, like maybe mathematical equations or maybe doing square roots or maybe saying tables. I also do, 1,000 minus 227 and that minus 227. And that makes it so difficult for me that soon I forget my fear and I'm totally focused on making those, getting those problems solved. The ground rule for being comfortable is to be present in the present, right? Which means create certain exercises for yourself that will stop you from thinking of the past or maybe, fantasizing about the future. Be in the present. A good thing would be if you start meditating and make it a practice, make it an everyday practice, because if you start meditating right at that moment, it is not going to help. Meditating needs a lot of practice. Yeah? Take it from me. Coming to externally, to be a better communicator is to manage your body language. So there has been, like I was just sharing with Shivani and Rushil sir, that there has been research which says 7% of your words, 35% of your paralanguage, and the rest is your body language. I repeat that, 7% of the words that you speak, 35% of the paralanguage, which is tonality, pitch, and volume, and the rest is your body language. If this major chunk of the impact that you create is based on your body language, isn't it important that we learn this, not just for ourselves, but also to observe and understand the people you interact with? Yes. So haven't most of you experienced that whenever we enter a room, we instinctively know that this person is very interesting, or this person is a snob, or this person is very boring, this person is ambitious. How do we understand that? You may call it your sixth sense, or you may call it whatever, the vibes or whatever, the energy that flows. It is the body language. We all are bundles of energies and we are constantly transmitting this energy. Most of the people, like when I'm interviewing people, in the matter of the first 5 to 10 seconds, I get those energies, the vibes from his body language to know whether I want to induct this person in my team or not. So there are 4 parameters on how we talk about body language, how we teach about body language, which is your posture, your gesture, your eyes, and your smile. Keep your posture erect and strong as a leader. Have your gestures open as a friendly person. Yeah, do not cross your arms or do not clasp your wrists or, always fidgeting with your phone or your pencils or your pen or something like that. Always be able to make eye contact Now, the question here is, if I'm addressing 100 people, how am I able to make eye contact with everyone? It's not possible. It's not humanly possible in the space of 10 minutes. So what do? I divide this audience into chunks, and then make eye contact with that chunk for a good substantial amount of time. Like it could be, 10 seconds or 15 seconds, but I do make eye contact. Eye contact shows that you're confident, you know your subject, and also that you are approachable and a friendly person. Similarly, when you are smiling, it shows the same thing. Your confidence, your friendly approach, and also that anybody can ask me a question. Now, understand the purpose of your speech. What do you want your audience to think, feel, and eventually act after the speech? This is very important because your entire content will depend on what is the TFA, think, feel, and act for your audience. Are you here to inspire? Are you here to motivate? Are you here to sell or tell? Are you here to inform? Are you here to ask for votes? Do you wish to convey a patriotic message? What is it that you have come here to talk about? What is the main purpose? This purpose will be defined in one word or one sentence. It is not a paragraph. Like for me, today when I come to talk to you, I want my audience to think that yes, communication is a very, very important tool for my success. I want my audience to feel that yes, Meeta ma'am is somebody who can actually tell me or teach me or maybe coach me in this communication skills. How do I want you to act? I want you to go back to Skill Rediscovery, check this website and check what are the available resources with you. And that is how my content is built today. Very important to understand the purpose of your speech. Yes? So body language, paralanguage, then you understand the purpose of your speech, understand your audience, and now understand yourself. It's very important. Now, nobody will teach you this. Okay? Why I bring this topic to you today, to understand yourself, is that lots of people come to me and say that, ma'am, sabse bada dar lagta hai that people will judge me. Right? So the focus or the spotlight is on you. Reframe the situation. You have not come here on the stage to tell people about everything that you know. You have not come on the stage to show that how intelligent or brilliant you are. You have come on the stage to serve the audience. You want to give certain value to your audience. You want your audience, when they go away, they feel that they got something substantial. They had some takeaways through this. Now, what has happened is the focus has changed from you to the audience. And as soon as the focus is on the audience and you understand that you are here to serve, all those jitters about being judged goes away. Because nobody is judging me. I'm here to give value, or I'm here to serve these people. Right? Try this. This is an amazing way of, decreasing your anxiety, because it's based on what people will think about me. Please think about other people and not always about yourself. You are not a film star. You are here to deliver something that is of value to other people. So you will not now talk of whether my hair is looking good, whether my makeup is good, whether my clothes are good, or whether my language is good. All of these points will go away, because here you are not focusing on yourself, but on other people. And another important thing is keep your message very crisp, concise, and clear. No jargon, no fancy word, no show off of your vocabulary, nothing like that. Because you are going to be talking in the language that the people will understand. The focus is not on your vocabulary, on how you talk, but the focus is on how people will understand you. Right? It's very important to understand your audience and keep the focus on the audience. And as you conclude, remember to link all your points with the main message. So with that, I'm open to questions from the audience, and I can see that I have an entire chat box which is full of questions. Here we go. So there is a question from, I think it is Pranjal, how to do an effective expressive communication in an interview, as we are advised not to use much hands and facial expression. I don't know who has advised you not to use facial expression, but your eyes should be able to show that you are confident, and your smile should be able to show that you are approachable and friendly. So yes, I don't think any coach will advise you not to use your facial expressions, because it's a conversation. When you are having a conversation, you are going to raise your eyebrow, you are going to smile, you are going to blink, you are going to nod your head. So all of these are effective body language. In my modules, I use an entire day to explain about how scientifically they have come about, what is the history behind it, how each of these gestures, postures are interpreted in different cultures. So how it would be in India, how it would be in America, or how it would be in the Eastern world, even in the Middle East. So each gesture is interpreted differently, and how it has come historically to us. It is embedded in our genes. So everywhere in the world, if you're nodding your head, it means yes. Body language is so important, Pranjal, that see, even a child who is yet to learn speaking understands body language, understands tones and pitches. If you speak a little loudly in front of a 8-month-old or a 10-month-old, they will fear you. Why? Because they understand tones and pitches. So even before the language was invented, the way we are speaking today, English or Hindi was invented, body language always existed. How would you communicate with someone who does not understand your Hindi or English? It will have to be body language. It will have to be gestures. Someone who is not able to hear you. It has to be sign language. So sign language, body language always existed. So nobody in this world will actually, a good communication coach or a good interview coach will tell you, will advise you to use your facial expressions, your body, your gestures, your posture, your eyes, smile, everything. But yes, in a professional manner. Too much of staring, too much of giggling, no. Have a professional attitude, okay? I hope I answered that.
One question was also that how should we practice communication? Should it be in front of the mirror, or should it be in front of a family or a friend?
Excellent question this. Now, so many coaches advises you that speak in front of the mirror. But for me, remember there was this fairy tale when we were growing up, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Apart from that mirror, that too, a fictional mirror, no mirror gives you answers. No mirror will give you an answer. So yes, just to see your body language and just to see how you look, it is good. But speaking in front of a mirror is not a great idea. It is very good if you can practice with your family and friends. That is because they can now give you constructive criticism. They can tell you, they can give you a feedback on how you need to be better. And that is a good point. Always take great feedback so that you can always improve. But what I suggest is two things. Whenever you're giving or practicing your speech or an interview answer, please record yourself. You all have smartphones these days, and please record yourself so that now what happens is you can for yourself see where you pronounced badly, or maybe you did not take a pause, or maybe you did not answer the complete question, or your answer was very long. You can always see, how long did it take me to answer this? Did it take me 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes? So the recording will help you because you can play it again and again. And when you have finalized and when you feel that this answer is perfect, you can keep that recording for use later on. Maybe you have practiced it today, but your interview is 6 months down the line. You still have that recording to go back to. So my suggestion is go for a recording. You can see yourself like you would like to see in a mirror. Second, you can have your own constructive feedback. You can show it to other people who are better than you. They can give you a feedback. Fourth, you can keep it as a recording for later on that you can use to practice at a later date. Second thing is that I will advise you to always go to a coach. What happens is maybe your family members or your parents or your friends, they are very nice, they're very good, but they are not trained the way the coaches are trained. They will not know how your answers are interpreted, how a recruiter thinks. They don't know the job profile or the job description. They do not understand the industry, or they do not understand the role and responsibilities of the job that you're going for. So I feel that yes, going to a coach is a great investment, because then that person will be able to tell you how to research for a company, how to use your research now to frame your answers, how to customize for every industry and every role and responsibility. So two things I've suggested. One is to record yourself, and second is to invest in a coach. Shivani, are there any more questions?
I guess, ma'am.
Rushil says, awesome. I'm so glad. Thank you if you found it useful. Oh, yes. Good. Somebody suggested a tongue twister here. She slips on sheep's ship. Oh my God. I'm going to use it next time, Dr. Suresh Kumar. Thank you for adding this, because I always use tongue twisters to be my cognitive resources when I'm feeling anxious. That's a great one. Yes, so session feedback. Okay, Rushil has posted a feedback form. Please do not forget to fill it.
Ma'am, I guess the way you've said it, it's perfect, because Skills Rediscovery promote this fact कि हम हर भाषा में अपने contestants को, अपने students को, अपने professionals को अपने courses provide करते हैं. चाहे आप हिंदी में comfortable हैं, चाहे आप English में comfortable हैं, अपनी कोई भी regional language में comfortable हैं, हम आपको वो सारे courses available कराते हैं. And जैसा कि मैम ने कहा that if you have liked this session, if you feel that you can grab something from this session, there is so much more जो मैम को आपको देना है, जो आपको सिखा सकती हैं. So उनके courses हैं, बहुत ही अच्छे courses हैं Skills Rediscovery पे. One such course is how to ace public speaking through NLP techniques, and another course is how to ace a job interview in a digital era through NLP techniques. And I think these courses would prove very fruitful for our people at Skills Rediscovery or anyone beyond that. So ma'am, I guess this session has been very, very fruitful for all our people here and who are going to join us tomorrow. So thank you so much for that. And I hope you have had a nice time.
Yes, definitely. I enjoy speaking about this, and I perfectly, feel that anyone on this side, who wants to be a public speaker or a great orator will have to go through all these phases. Everybody goes through these phases of nervousness and how to build my content and how to understand an audience. Now, this 6-hour module that we are talking of, which is, you can take it at your pace, talks in detail about each of these things that I spoke to you today. What is an effective body language, how to understand the paralanguage, how to understand or create the purpose for your speech, how to understand the audience, what are the factors that one needs to keep in mind, what are the NLP techniques that makes it more assertive and powerful, what are the words particularly leaders are using that will convince or influence other people. So it is a very well-researched module, and I invite all of you to have a look at that, and let's meet each other on the other side of Skill Rediscovery. Thank you very much, Shivani, and thank you, Professor Rushil, for having me on this. And very, very grateful to all of you to be here and talk to me for an hour now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.